What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing all right today. We are going to be looking at Geneforge 1 Mutagen, one of those two. It's a total remaster of the 2001 cult classic Geneforge. You play as a shaper, a person that can build servants from nothing. You join the school of shapers and are told to never set foot on the island of Sucia or suffer banishment. You are attacked one day by a sailing vessel and find yourself washed ashore on this island. You will explore the island and solve its secrets and find a way to escape. And just a little bit of a disclaimer, this is going to be a first look at Geneforge 1 because this game has a whopping 80 different zones and over 50 hours of gameplay. But I have put about 5 hours into the game and I think I kind of have a grasp of it, so just keep that in mind. Geneforge 1, again, is a remaster of a 2001 game, and all this means is that there's been a few quests that are added, areas, characters, dialogue, and has redone the interface and systems. It states to bring it to the modern age, but the system is still very primitive, but honestly, I think this is what adds some charm to it. When first starting off, it's awkward. Trust me, it takes a minute to get used to the way you need to pick things up and attack. What I mean by that is if you want to pick something up off the ground, you need to open your backpack in that room and it'll show up in the ground portion of the menu. Not like what you're used to by just seeing it on the ground and clicking on the object. Then you have the combat. You can preset yourself into combat by pressing the combat button on the screen or pressing F. Now this will put you into a standard grid pattern turn-based combat that you're familiar with, except this can be done at any point, regardless of enemies near you. And this is honestly the only way that you can set your formation before enemies start charging towards you. Things like this that are abnormal to today's standards, but honestly, it won't make the game unplayable to you. You catch on really quickly and learn the keyboard shortcuts to streamline the game. Some reviews have stated you can't change the shortcuts, but you can. I don't know if this was an update that just happened really quickly, or if it was always in the game. When you do start a new game, you have a choice between 3 different roles. Now the shaper that is skilled in magic and is best at creating creatures has a downside that they are physically weak and are best to stand in the background and fire missiles while your creatures take the enemies head on. Now the Guardian, think of them as the warrior class, high in physical combat and can still summon creatures fairly well, but they're lacking in magic capabilities. And then lastly, the agent, with magic and physical skills but lacking in creature department. Agents are essentially the hard difficulty of the game, seeing as if you won't gain any followers through your playthrough other than the creatures that you make, so this one you may want to do after like a few playthroughs. And speaking of making creatures, you have a nice selection as long as you find a way to make them. Now these are usually found in vats across the island to advance your shaping skills. You create your creature from using essence. Limited by your skill and the amount that you have, you can only make a limited number of creatures, and even fewer if you decide to enhance their abilities. Now each creature has its own special attacks and passive abilities you can add before creating them. It truly determines on what you need in that current situation. For example, your first creation, a red velociraptor looking spawn, can be equipped with a haste ability, which allows a free action randomly. This is a great help when you can only spawn 2 creatures and you're fighting 4 or 5 enemies at one time. Also, if they are not what you need, you can break them down and make new ones. Nothing is stopping you from making better creatures, giving you a wide variety of change and dynamic to the way you want to play. Then the level design is wonderful in this game, with many nooks and crannies to explore and hidden secrets to find helpful items to assist you as long as you take the time to explore the area fully. I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of disparity from each area. You can clearly tell there were some reused assets throughout the areas, but they're laid out in such a way that you can make distinctive features out about where you're at, and you can easily navigate each area with ease. A good testament to level design, honestly. Music and sound design are lacking, but I think these features were not really touched on in the remaster, so this is the original sounds of the 2001 game. Things were limited back then, and I would say that I would not update the sounds because I know fans of the original game would probably have a major meltdown if you were to change things like this, so I'm not going to pass any judgment. But let's touch on the negatives real quick. The save feature. There's no autosave. You got to make sure, please, God forbid, make sure you hit F3 very often. If not, you can be set back an hour or more like I did. Another negative, honestly, could be a positive, is the openness of the game. It's great that you can go anywhere and you can attack whoever you want, but you can easily walk into some areas you should not be, and you'll die very easily, which can be frustrating to go through and just keep walking around and exploring, and you'll find the areas that you need to be in, but that trial and error can be a pain in the ass. Another thing that really isn't a negative, but I could see people getting upset about it, there's a lot of reading in this game. No markers where you need to go, and really any notifications if you get a quest. It's all based on what you read. You have a quest book, but if you didn't read the dialogue, you may not even know you had a quest, so keep that in mind going into the game. And then lastly, the controls. The way the game plays, again, this is an old school game. It's said to have updated controls, but they still seem dated, and people may not like this. It's really going to be up to your preference. All in all, I think this game is going to be for old school players. But if you step out of your comfort zone, this may be a game that modern gamers will also love. But it's going to be a leap for some people to pay a $20 price tag. But if this is interesting to you, or you're intrigued by it, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So, if you guys do want to pick it up, there's a link for the Steam page down in the description, as well as a link to the Discord channel if you guys want to come and chat. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're always looking at new indie games, guys, and you may find some that you overlooked. But, like always, guys, I'll see you in the next video, and have fun.